Welcome to the webinar on 5 ways that you can add value to your participants during the online learning experience. With the recent changes, previously online webinars, online meetings were kind of an add-on, a precursor to a face-to-face event. And we'd get together every now and then and we'd just use the online environment just to complement, to supplement our other communications. What's happening now is that it's becoming the main means of communication. And there's lots of tools you can do, that I can do, to add value to you during this 30-minute webinar. So let me share with you a few things that you can do. First of all, I'm seeing a few names. Participate, ask questions as we go. And thank you for those who typed in the dialogue box. The Q&A box is also open. So type your questions into the question and answer chat box, and I will respond to them as I go. Take notes, pass your own comments, your own remarks, and think and apply what I'm sharing with you to your own self, your own personal environment. Do you have a webinar coming up, a seminar? Do you have an online meeting? Are you going to do anything to add value to that particular meeting from what you've learned today? So what are the 5 strategies that I use that I think you can do to add value to your online experience, whether it's a meeting, a seminar, a webinar, even a workshop? So create a great pre-virtual meeting experience. We'll go through these one by one. Use tools, questionnaires, surveys during the webinar. I've got mobile phones close by and you're ready to go to that link when I ask you. Give something away, an ebook, a white paper, a report during the event. Follow up with other resources. Can be your PowerPoint slides, can be a list of resources you use, your favorite books that relate to your topic. And finally, you can do a further online, provide an online vault of resources. So let's go through these one by one. These are some of the things I do. And welcome Jade and Julie. Create a great pre-webinar experience. Send a survey monkey or some other questionnaire. What are your key issues around public speaking? What happens to you when you have to deal with conflict in the workplace? My wife Violet sends out a survey around your personality types and how you react when you're under pressure. And that just gets people prepared and aware of where they sit on their emotional intelligence scale and how they will differently deal with difficult conversations, difficult situations. By doing this before the webinar, people are ready to learn. Send a TED talk. When I talk about nonverbal communication and maybe overcoming fear, I often send out the TED talk by Amy Cuddy. That's one moment. So that's Amy, excuse my scribble, Cuddy, C-U-D-D-Y, and it's about non-verbal communication. It's about faking it till you make it. It's about how when you walk on stage, people don't know whether you're nervous or not. And does your non-verbal communication give away that you're nervous? By people having a look at this TED talk prior to coming to the webinar, the seminar, or the meeting, whatever resource you deliver, it helps people prepare for your content. Get them to take some notes. 3 topics you'd like to speak about. What's the biggest issue facing you? So these are all simple tools you can use to create a pre-event experience. You can also do your SurveyMonkey post-event. We often follow up with a SurveyMonkey to find out what we could do differently. So use your SurveyMonkey, use your tools, use your TED Talks to create a great pre-virtual event experience, and you can use it for post-event, which I'll talk about later. The next thing is you can use tools, questionnaires, surveys to add value and interaction during your virtual presentation. There's an event here called, there's an app called Poll Everywhere. Another app that I sometimes use is called Mentimeter. And you ask people questions, you create the poll, and people vote with their phone, mobile devices, and then I can adjust and change the content of the webinar based on the outcome from this survey. Now, this is only a 30-minute webinar, so I'm going to do a quick one for you. Can I get you to go to the web link? Don't text me. I don't have the ability to respond to the text today. And I'm going to launch, I'm going to activate and clear responses, and I'm going to get you to vote. What do you like to do with your spare time? What do you like to do with your spare time? And here we have our Wordle. So gardening's winning. There's more people like gardening. Oh, bike has come up equally as well. Gardening's getting even bigger. Exercise, walk. And we have a live poll. Now, funny thing is, what you want to do with your spare time does not relate to this seminar. So I do apologize. With the limited time, it was just to show you one of the simple tools. This one's called Poll Everywhere. Now, let me just get out of my screen and let me share. This is my PowerPoint. And I'm hoping you're looking at my PowerPoint slide. I'll just new share. Poll Everywhere is a plugin that you add to your PowerPoint software. It's free, you download it, and it just becomes on the normal PowerPoint toolbar. Home, insert, draw, design, transitions, poll everywhere. You insert a poll, you design it. It can be a bar graph, it can be a pie chart. I went with a Wordle. You can use this for free to make your online, your virtual events, your virtual meetings more interactive. I'll just go back to presentation mode. And there we go. So it looks like bike was the winner. We've got baking cakes, we've got bushwalking, we've got gardening, work. People like to work in this, but riding, yeah. So there's a simple exercise that took me no time to set up at all. Number 3, during your online event, give something away. Dealing with difficult people, a free report from Harvard Business Review, a chapter of your book, an eBook. So I've written this eBook, How to Write a Killer speech. Now, keynote speaking at conferences probably for the next 6 months, but there is a formula that I use when I help people, when I coach people to write a presentation they're delivering at a conference, maybe at a workshop. And what are you going to give away at your next live event, your next virtual event, your online event? What are you going to give away? Is it a tip sheet? While we're here, if anybody would like my ebook, which I normally sell for $19.95, you can get my ebook version. Just send an email to support@peterdhu, and that should be .com.au, peterdhu.com.au, and my personal assistant will send you the free ebook, How to Write a Killer Speech. What can you give away that adds value to the experience of your participants, something they can use, something that adds to the learning? Are there any questions at this stage? And I'll just go back as well as I'm taking some questions. What tool, what poll, what survey can you do mid-seminar to just engage the audience? How might you use this in your meeting, in your online event? What can you give away? Okay, so thanks, Sarah. Sarah's asked, how do you know what to give away before and what to give away during, or what to give away after? Look, it really doesn't matter. Before, the things I give away before should prepare people, sort of set the scene for the live event. So giving away a speech writing workbook for a 5 tips to add value to a virtual audience is not congruent with the topic. In fact, it's probably not congruent with, I probably should have had another free gift to share with you. But this is more about learning and me demonstrating to what you can do. So before, it should add to the event, add to the content, complement the content. During, it can just be a gift, something nice. Doesn't have to be related exactly to the topic. Are there any other questions while I just pause for a moment? And yes, support@peterdhu, then .com.au. I'll share my full website later on. Follow up with a webinar. If it's a course and you're delivering content, sometimes people struggle with the learning, and as a result of a 5 one-hour webinar online course that I've delivered, I'm going to do a 30-minute Zoom 1 week after your problems. How's the new methodology working? What are the issues you've had in dealing with difficult customers? Are you controlling your nerves with public speaking? And that webinar will kind of be like a free bonus that I add. You can do Facebook Live. You can do Facebook Live. With this Zoom, I'm using Zoom, by the way. In my controls, I could be simultaneously running this webinar, this seminar, live on Facebook. Zoom allows you to do Facebook Live, so you can let people know in your Facebook community, I'll be on such and such a day at 1 p.m. For those of you who want to watch it Facebook Live, it'll be streaming on Facebook Live. The other thing I'm doing with this webinar, and those of you who've been on the webinar before will know, is I record it and I make it available to all people who register. So if you register, and you're unable to attend, you will still get the content by the webinar recording. It takes 2 or 3 days to convert. And And so, Pauline, can I get you to ask a question in the Q&A box? So, follow up with a webinar, with a Facebook Live, with a YouTube video, whatever it is you want to follow up. The follow-up should complement and generally deal with the content of the webinar, of the seminar, of the meeting. For those of you who are still struggling on XXX, I will be running a 30-minute follow-up session in a week's time. So go around, play with the techniques I've taught you, see how you go. How can you follow up? And number 5, provide an online vault of resources. This can be your PowerPoint slides. This can be a video recording of your webinar. This can be your frequently read books. This can be articles. It can be whatever you want. With Dropbox, you can create a folder in Dropbox and you can name it resources for online webinar, how to add value to participants with online learning. And then you share the link with those particular people. Do I need to declare that I'm streaming live to participants first? It depends how you do it. So this is a webinar and I haven't opened up anyone's dialog box and I'm not sharing, and I've got 17, 18 people on the seminar. So if I do go Facebook Live, nobody knows who's on, no faces, no names other than first names. So I'm not going to call you by your surname, and there are two Adams, so no one can work out who it is. If you're running a meeting, and I do run meetings, and with my online training, I'm going to talk about in a moment, we limit it to 5 or 6 people, and we have everyone's videos open and their microphones open, and I do record that, but I don't Facebook Live that. You can also Facebook Live to a private group. So it may be a group of people that can't attend the webinar and they prefer to consume it on their mobile device. So you don't have to declare it that it's going live, as long as you identify those people. You can always declare, hey, I am going to be Facebooking this live. One of the resources I use is called GetTalk. And GetTalk, I show this on my screen, and please feel free to take this link down. You can get some resources, and when you type that in, you put your name and your email, and some resources appear in your email. So let me escape out of this. I'm now going to share with you my email. And I'm just looking for, here we go. And this is the email that will come through should you click on that link, which I will show you shortly. And within that, there's 3 resources. There's the PowerPoint slides that I've provided that relate to this presentation. And this presentation was delivered to some office professionals in Perth. There's an article that I'll share with you that was around how your passion for what you do surpasses being perfect, being polished, being poised, being perfect. And this webinar has been, one could argue, quite a few mistakes. The audio wasn't working at first. It's been a little bit clunky. but I'm showing you how to add value. The other thing is, so the slides, these are the PowerPoint slides that I shared with effective public speaking skills for office professionals. And the third resource was a checklist that you can use to prepare before every presentation. So these are just ways that you can add value to your participants while they're online, on an online learning experience. So, summarising the 5 tips: create a great pre-online learning experience. Send out something to do, an exercise, a TED talk, a video to watch, a YouTube. Maintain the interaction during by using polls, tools, surveys, as we did. Give something away, an eBook, a report, a white paper. Do a follow-up webinar, a group coaching 1 week after, just to see how things are going, and create that vault of online resources via GetTalk, TalkBook, just a link to Dropbox, for example. 5 easy strategies. So just because you're presenting virtually, just because you're running a seminar or learning online, doesn't mean you can't use all the tools available. With a normal workshop that people attend, you do a great pre-workshop experience. You deliver content within the workshop, and then you do a follow-up experience. Nothing changes for an online experience. Is it easy or tricky to set up Zoom? It's actually quite easy. You can use a free Zoom account, and it's limited to 45 minutes. I have a paid Zoom account, and I think free Zoom only allows maybe 10 or 15 people, and it's for meetings. So I'm running a webinar, so the meetings means everyone can open up their microphone and open up their video, and you can get someone, and you've heard of Zoom bombing. People who aren't invited are jumping into Zoom meetings and sharing inappropriate content. So now we've got, they can't do that with a webinar. So it's relatively easy to set up. Practice your slides, and when you invite people, as with you, it's just a link. Nobody needs to download any apps, any websites. They just click on the link and you go live. I used GoToWebinar for 7 years. I've now used Zoom for 3 years. They're both really good platforms. I think Zoom is easier to use, more adaptable. I'm going to share just before we wrap up. So thanks for that question, Pauline. I've got 2 more webinars coming up. Now, my webinars are now focusing, or seminars are focusing on online learning. So your voice, strategies to use your voice in an online environment. I'm not there. You can't see much of me. You've got my face, my voice, my slides. So the voice now becomes such a larger component of the online experience. What can you do to create a greater online experience? Webinar, then how to effectively use slides in a virtual training or online meeting. This is going to be a paid webinar. So I now have to take my training from the face-to-face to the virtual. I will advertise this one widely, and this will go for 45 minutes. And sometimes people ask, the reason I'm saying this, Pauline, is because there's so many tricks that I haven't shown you that you can do with Zoom to really enhance the experience as well. I'm going to explore some of those features in this particular seminar, and that's the 30th of April. We've converted all our workshops to online delivery. There's a whiteboard behind me. I'll be standing up and speaking. It'll still go for the 7 hours, so it's a 1-day workshop, but we'll do 45 minutes, 15-minute break, 45 minutes, 15-minute break. It'll be interactive. We'll open up the the videos, we'll open up the chats so you can talk to each other, and we'll be able to do virtual breakout sessions. The times, for those of you over East, please remember these times to suit wherever you are. So all our workshops are still available online. I mentioned my website, how to reach me. So it's peterdhu.com.au. Just about to wrap up. So your next virtual meeting, your online seminar, your online learning, how are you going to create a great online experience? How are you going to maintain interaction? We've had a little bit of Q&A, not a lot, but the poll was quite interesting. Give away some resources, follow up with another webinar post, a coaching, I'll answer your questions a week later, and provide a vault of resources. Thanks everybody. I'm going to end the webinar there. Stay safe, and remember, share your ideas, share your passions with your communities. Thanks everyone.